Are good-hearted people being led to the slaughter by a psyop? I think so, and you have to watch this video. Great article came out recently, said QAnon bears striking resemblance to Bolshevik psyop from the 1920s known as Operation Trust. Operation Trust was a Bolshevik counterintelligence operation run from 1921 to 1926 aimed at neutralizing opposition by creating the false impression that a powerful group of military leaders had organized to stop the communist takeover. Doesn't that sound familiar? In this book, it talked about how they used generals that people trusted and how they do people. Let's look. They convinced the leaders that the regime had undergone a radical change. Communism had completely failed. Ideology was dead. The present leaders had nothing in common with the fanatical revolutionaries of the past. These agents confided in their contacts that the anti-Soviet monarchist movement that they represented had penetrated into the higher levels of the army, the security service, and even the government, and in time would take power and restore the monarchy. Sounds exactly like one of the biggest fake theories in the right-wing movement right now. You could also read more about it. One of the biggest breakout stars over the last few months in the conspiracy theory realm is Simon Parkes, who's been getting millions of views convincing people that there's a secret sting operation to save them and that FEMA camps and militarized streets are actually really good. Take a look.
And to what Americans called Gitmo. And we don't call it that in the United Kingdom, we call it Guantanamo Bay. But that's because we're British. Yeah. But the point here is that those FEMA camps that are there at the moment are for the bad guys. They're not for the good guys. So you shouldn't have any concerns. You know, if you've seen regular armed United States soldiers on the streets, you shouldn't have any concern. But 193,000 arrest warrants ready to roll. You're going to need those FEMA camps to put these people in. And as somebody said to me, there's a lot of fat cats in Washington, D.C., who are in for quite a rude awakening because it's not going to be the Hilton Hotel for them.
Exactly.
Of course, he's most likely lying. The FEMA camps are not to arrest your enemies. Why would they even have to put politicians in a FEMA camp? They have high-level facilities for that, if they were to do that. But the FEMA camps are actually the opposite of what he's saying, and they're being used for mass vaccination sites under a Joe Biden regime. People like William Cooper and Behold a Pale Horse used to try to warn people what happens under a national emergency and a FEMA takeover of the country. And for decades, conspiracy theorists, libertarians, and conservatives knew that an over-militarized government, FEMA camps, emergency declarations, lockdowns, and quarantines are not a great thing. That's not the good guys. That's government being too big, obviously. But Simon Parkes, he says the exact opposite. And everybody trusts it because it sounds so good. But who is this guy? First of all, he rose to fame several years ago by claiming his real mother was a 9-foot green alien, according to The Guardian, and in New York Daily News, married UK politician claims he fathered child with an alien. If you notice his political party, according to the report, it was the Labour Party. That's the far-left Socialist Party in the UK. But now he's the biggest theorist in the right-wing world, deceiving people into thinking that FEMA camps are okay and to feel comfortable with military in your streets because they're really there to arrest all the enemies. People just blindly believe this stuff and don't even question it. All you have to do is go to his website and he'll tell you Simon grew up in a family that had links to British and American intelligence. Simon's mother worked for MI5. However, she was managed by MI5. She was in reality working for the NSA. Simon's grandfather was employed to Secret Intelligence Service, better known as MI6. In reality, he was reporting to the CIA. So he's bragging on his own website about being from an intelligence community family, while he's telling people that FEMA camps are good and that he has relationships with aliens. I guess it's that easy to fool people when you want to have hope in something like a secret sting operation that never existed in the first place. They're lying to you, but that might be part of their plan. You just don't know it. I found it interesting too when I searched for Simon Parkes that the first thing that came up was the disappearance of Simon Parkes, a British leading seaman who disappeared in 1986. And I saw this picture, Simon Parkes, Gibraltar search for missing Royal Navy man. They never found him. And it's just so weird to me that he looks exactly like that person. I'm not saying it's him. It's probably not. It's almost definitely not, but it is very bizarre. But what's more bizarre is he's bragging about his intelligence community family. So Red flag, red flag, red flag. Telling you FEMA camps are good, major red flag. Come on, people. You shouldn't be this easy to fool. But other people within the MAGA and Q movement are doing a way better job of fooling people because they're feeding them a Disney-like narrative that they want to hear. Take X22 Report for an example. Still in January, he's using the Trump's gonna be there for 4 more years. Trump's getting inaugurated, trust me. Just buy my product and trust that Trump's gonna be there.
A new look at everything. With Trump staying in the White House, it might be a great time to look at Noble Gold's security option. Yes, security. It's like damp proofing, but it keeps the government from your savings like the damp from your floors. With Trump staying in the White House, with Trump staying in the White House, with Trump staying in the White House, and everything that we're watching right now, everything that we're seeing the largest sting operation the world has ever seen. We have initiated certain fail-safes that shall safeguard the public from primary fallout, which is slated to occur 11/3 upon the arrest of Mr. Podesta, actionable 11/4. During January 6th, what is Trump going to do? He's going to present the fraud. He's going to show hard data. He's going to show video. He's going to show the Dominion machines being hacked. He's going to show much more than that. Here we are one day before the inauguration. Trump today gave his farewell speech. People are very nervous about this. But remember, for optic reasons, Trump is never going to let on that there's an operation. Everything is going as planned. This is a sting operation. You don't make announcements. You don't tell people what you're doing.
And I kid you not, now this pathological liar is telling people that Joe Biden might be in on it. He might be the one to pull the trigger. You would think it's a parody, but it's not. This guy is really this dishonest. He lies all the time. And he's amassed one of the biggest followings in the right-wing movement, brainwashing millions of patriots into complete delusion. The dude is a pathological liar, or maybe it's his job to just deceive people and run them on a constant chase like a donkey or a horse trying to catch the carrot that never comes. I'm not sure what his intentions are, and I'm not going to pretend like I know, but it's just shocking to me that they're following almost the exact playbook of Operation Trust when the Bolsheviks and communists wanted to deceive patriots into thinking there was a secret plan, so they never actually did anything themselves, and they used generals and very popular people.
All of this was expected. All of this is part of the sting operation we're running. And let me tell you that 48 hours ago, not only did we put markers on those ballots, 7 days, let me repeat it again, Jones, it's going to be Trump. It will not be Biden. Biden's people will be arrested. There will be people who will be arrested. Pelosi, Biden, Schumer. That's what's going to happen.
Speaking of a general who pushes the QAnon stuff and this idea that he's 100% sure that Trump's going to be in office for 4 more years and Biden's not going to get inaugurated, here's General Flynn saying that recently. He's 100% sure that Trump's going to remain in office. He said this the day before the Capitol riot set up, where dozens of people got arrested and hundreds of people lost their social media accounts. Take a look.
What is your call to the American people right now?
Well, my big message is that the truth is going to come out. Donald Trump will continue to be the president of the United States for the next 4 years. There's no doubt in my mind. When I'm asked on a scale of 1 to 10, what's the scale that you put that Trump will be the next president, I say 10, without a doubt. That is the truth.
And I'm sure General Flynn and his family are great people. God bless them. But why do people trust him so much, despite the fact that he's clearly lying here, and he was totally wrong about that, and people trust him because he's an authoritative figure, and he worked in the government, so they think he has secret intel that he's feeding them to be 100% sure, so he's giving people false hope.
Donald Trump will continue to be the president of the United States for the next 4 years. There's no doubt in my mind. When I'm asked on a scale of 1 to 10, what's the scale that you put that Trump will be the next president, I say 10, without a doubt. That is the truth.
But why do people trust him so much? Of course, it's because he got fired in the Trump administration, but the main reason that he's gained a cult following is because of QAnon, the anonymous poster that's deceived people into believing that they're receiving secret military intel about a sting operation where one day all of their enemies are going to be arrested. But of course, none of them predicted Joe Biden getting into office and Trump not finishing 4 more years, because it kind of ruins the whole theory and proves that it was a hoax. But if you look at General Flynn's resume on April April 17th, 2012, President Barack Obama nominated Flynn to be the 18th director of the Defense Intelligence Agency. Flynn took command of the DIA in July 2012. He also became the first U.S. officer allowed inside the Russian military intelligence headquarters in Moscow. I'm sure he's a nice guy. I'm just saying he worked under Obama and he's an intelligence community guy. I'm not knocking his work, but I'm not just going to blindly follow this guy and act like he's the return of the Messiah when he's telling me he's 100% sure Trump's going to be there when he's 100% wrong, lying and getting millions of people brainwashed by this QAnon ideology that they don't actually have to save their country. Lockdowns, quarantines, FEMA camps. I mean, who cares about all this? Because there's a secret sting operation that we've known all along. QAnon told us years ago it's a secret plan. Well, it doesn't take a genius to figure out it's not a secret plan if they told you, and it's not sneaky if you're telling millions of people on Twitter and YouTube all the time. It's not secret at all. The military wouldn't tell you on a message board, and they certainly wouldn't say it 3 or 4 years in advance. Accounts like X22 act like he's a secret wizard and he knows that they're sneaking up on Joe Biden in the inauguration to surround him, but how is it sneaky when he's broadcasting it to millions of people? It's not. They're either pathological liars, so hopeful that they've put their faith that should have been in God into political movements, or maybe they're purposely lying to people. At this point, it's worth your consideration because it's getting kind of weird. Mike Lindell, my pillow guy, who people started trusting, he said he was 100% sure that Trump was going to stay in office.
Going on that I can't say. All I want to do is give everybody confidence that Donald Trump's going to be your president for the next 4 years. 100% Donald Trump is going to be your president the next 4 years. We cannot, I don't want anyone out there to lose the faith.
He, of course, lied too. Lynn Woods gained a huge audience. He said just this week, Trump will be president for at least 4 more years. At least 4 more years? So he thinks he's going to be there for more than 4 more years? He won. So just be patient. Trust the plan. Every lie will be revealed. It takes time because so many lies for so many years. Trust God, trust truth, trust Trump. No, trust God. Don't trust political leaders. Don't trust somebody who's been selling a Moderna vaccine and emergency rushing mRNA vaccines through approval, who didn't pardon Julian Assange, Edward Snowden, or Ross Ulbricht, but instead pardoned a Democrat politician. Put your godlike faith into him. And people like Lynn Wood, who of course are great lawyers, but have multiple times posted hoaxes and had to take them down, posting a hoax article about the Pope being arrested that was fake and a Photoshop Nancy Pelosi picture. I mean, clearly this guy's not good at accuracy and research, and he's another one with the where we go one, we go all, trust the plan. Isn't that interesting? A general, a very famous lawyer who was mostly Democrat his whole life, but that's fine, everybody changes. Simon Parkes, who his family admittedly worked with the CIA and the NSA and British military intelligence, and an anonymous message board X22 who never shows his face. Praying medic who's lied to people for 3 years, admitted disinfo's necessary and said, trust the plan, trust me, I get messages from God.
But I think Pompeo is sending out some signals that things are not as they seem, and that's what God is showing me. I've been getting regular messages from God, and he continually shows me things are not as they seem.
Orchestrating a movement that's exactly like Operation Trust, which the Bolsheviks schemed. What better way to keep people complacent than telling them the solution already happened? The real solution is changing yourself to change the world, not giving up your God-given liberty. People like Bastiat and leaders of liberty and freedom in the 1700s, 1800s, and 1900s, they all used the term God-given freedom and God-given liberty. That's because they believed the American Constitution right was a God-given liberty and no man could take it away from you. Over the last 100 years, men have been taking it away from you, from Obama to Bush to Donald Trump. He infringed on the First Amendment. He infringed on the Second Amendment. He didn't stop the lockdowns and try to uphold the Constitution. He was in on it. 15 days to slow the spread. He extended it past Easter. And Trump supporters just make up lies and excuses, pretending like it was just the governors and he had no part. That's not true. It's become a cult. People don't trust God. They don't trust themselves. And they don't believe in their God-given liberty. They run circles around Donald Trump, Lynn Wood, General Flynn, Praying Medic, X22, Simon Parkes, and think that that's going to lead them to the solution. Meanwhile, these people are telling them to trust an anonymous message board poster who's posted stuff like trust Jeff Sessions, made millions of people trust Bill Barr.